on my behalf.
Exactly, which is the one who's going to be reaching out to you. The debtor letting you know, like, hey, I
The
got something
debtor.
from
Okay.
somebody else for you. I need you to help me take care of them.
Right. So that's the debtor. Okay.
Reaching
Well, then they're working with. So the creditor reached out to the debtor, right?
The debtor reached out to the creditor because the debtor
Reached out.
wanted something from that creditor for you, whether it was a house, a car, or money. They went to that creditor and got something from them for you, acting as
Right.
you.
Got you. Okay. Got you.
They gave it to them.
Who was the Who was the third party? Who did the debtor have to reach? So
Now,
they're
this
just
third
working back with the
party could
creditor.
be you as an individual, or this third party could be a third party debt collector, depending on if you paid or if you decided to have it against another party to have the right to perform.
Okay.
It depends. You can step into that. According to the agreement, though, they're going to tell you I can report to third party agencies like Experian, TransUnion, Equifax. I can report to the CFPB. I'm going to report to a person or the person, which may be an individual, obligated or liable in some way to perform. They're going to put each and every person that they can think of on notice, being a creditor, being an individual, being a successor of interest, being an entity. They're going to put everybody on notice because we're all acting for one another.
Okay.
How you feeling? What's your thoughts? Good faith is required. There's an obligation by each and every agreement that you've signed or you created a contract that another person has a right to perform to their subordinated obligation, which is to trade it further or to sell it.
Okay.
And then we get into Article 2. And are they talking about sales, where it's very heavy in this article because what they're going to be explaining here, they just told you about a document in due form in Article 1 that they're going to be transacting with you with. In Article 2, they're going to be talking about that document, why it's so important, who is it for, how that form information changes and readjusted so that it forms a contract. They're going to be talking about hella stuff in here. That merchant and in good faith, they're going to be talking about every single thing from every single aspect when it comes to sales. And each and every time sales is involved, transaction is involved. So they're not going to be talking about security interest and defining that here no more. They defined it in Article 1, and it will continue on to Article 2 under a reservation of rights to use it by the other party. They have explicit reservation to use it. But if they can't use it, although it's reserved, then they just won't use it. They're waiting on the other transaction, the transaction that was excluded. And this is why this article is so important. It allows for the scope and the reason and the purpose to change and for a certain security to be provided. But if that other transaction isn't entered into, according to everything that we're going to read after this, it'll never happen. You will end up paying. So we're going to stop before we get into that. But how you feel about the day? What's your thought?
I'm good. Arca one lit. You know what I'm saying? I'm happy because, like I said, I took off tomorrow, and then I have the rest of the evening today to really dive into Article One, take some notes. I'm even gonna tap into some of the old Article Ones that I have and kind of see if I can tie some of that information in because at the time I wasn't ready for that information. So now that we've gone through Article One through the mentorship status, I can go back and address those other Article Ones and I can see it from a different perspective. So
You must
I
definitely will.
I am elated. I am truly overjoyed with Article One, and um, even though I'm not 100% clear, my understanding of it, and I know just the more I dive into it, they ain't gonna do nothing but help me and clear things up even more.
Only
So
way you can go is up.
right. So I'm good. I'm ready to roll.
Good. I feel like you were, guided through Article 1. I feel like, yeah, the same way you do. You have to go back and, pick up on some things, but I have 100% no doubt that you're about like 70% there. So that 30% not gonna be hard for you to go back and pick up from Article 1 because it's very important. It's very, very important, like I said, that you grasp. and understand part 2 and part 3. Part 1 of it is general. It's pretty much something that can be like, oh, okay, basic common sense when it comes to transacting, because you don't know who you ever will be transacting with. So part 1 is just in general, letting you know that if it's a boy, it's a girl to me. If it's singular, it's plural. If it's a section, then it should have a caption. Like, you know what I'm saying? You should know exactly what that caption is about. It's severe that it's like that. The construction and the processes of the Uniform Commercial Code, they let us know that immediately. It's important. So the Uniform Commercial Code is always involved. It's never not involved if you're transacting. So, you know what I'm saying? They just land a foundation. The Uniform Commercial Code is the part of the purpose and the policy of any person who you deal with. Any person who you have a contract, and each and every contract and the construction of that contract, the Uniform Commercial Code is involved. The Uniform Commercial Code can be involved, a part of that contract or part of that construction or part of that process, again, to repeal, to imply and express. And it is severe that they get both implied and expressed in order for them to repeal, in order for them to make changes, in order for them to go against a process or finish processing. And they don't care who do it. He is she is he. We is us, our, you, me. We all the same, singular, plural. It's going to be more than one. And each of us is going to be using it in our own way. So it's very important that you read the sections. It's very important that you know what's related to those sections, like signatures, like the National Commerce Act, national, trade, things that have to go on. So that means each person has to sign according to those caption sections and all of your agreements where they're giving you the provisions. It has to be fully performed to. So that's basic. And then part 2 is giving you how each person interpret things, each principal person, not just one principal, principles, each principal person. How do each party interpret the agreement? General definitions help you with the meaning of each person's interpretations when it comes to the agreement, so that you know the difference between knowing things and having knowledge about it. Notice and notification, security, interest, and lease, and different values at a reasonable time and a seasonable time. And the difference between making assumptions and presumptions is very important, that you presume in a manner that is interpreted by your agreements, or you're not dealing with the facts. It's very important that you know the facts of where you are located, because things are dealt with in a manner where each person is located. That is the rule. And then to give you general rules to that, which will allow for agreements to be different and us to work together with one another under obligations of good faith. That means that this person promised to do something, you promise to do something. Each person gonna do something, but it's really not gonna harm them in any way, or it shouldn't cause any damage unless somebody is lacking good faith. If you feel bad or you feel like something's going wrong or something ain't right, it's some good faith lacking. You should immediately, as an individual, come here. That way you can speak as though you have observed the Uniform Commercial Code, and when you communicate with them, they'll understand that good faith was lacking by somebody else because of the abundance of information that this person has communicated to me. It's the rules. It's not a rule that you pay with FRNs. It's not in your agreements. It's an interpreted that because you got the house, car, or whatever, that you promised to pay for it. That's not how it should be interpreted, unless that's truly how you feel. And that's how we be feeling when we go and get something, because we like, damn, you did this for me, I gotta do this. But yeah, no, not according to commerce. That's not what they want nationally. Globally and around the world, they're getting signatures, and that's how it could be interpreted, but not nationally. They want to enter into trade.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go ahead and stop it here today, and we'll pick up next week, and